Hello, welcome to Folsom Manufacturing. My name is Tommy. Today we're going to be doing part 2 for our nameplate project. Today we are going to explain how to machine after you've CAD and modeled your project. So to get started, we're going to get off with some basic tools we're going to need. Let's start off with the bits we're going to need. You're going to need a 1/4 chamfer, which is provided by the model. You're going to need any 1/4 bit. Doesn't matter what type, you just need the shaft. And then you're going to need your 1/4 edge finder. And it should come in this little red packaging. Next, you're going to need 3 wrenches, a 17mm, 13mm, and a 1/4. But also, you can also just use a 7mm with an impact to make life easier opening and closing that vise. And you're also going to need your thumb drive that you should have exported your program to from the last video. Now, to get this start, you're going to grab your stock, which is somewhere behind the tape desktop mills. Now we're going to load it into the machine by placing it horizontally and put it into these grooves of the vices. You'll be able to feel them. Just put it in. Right now it's not open enough, so you would just take your wrench or impact and open it up a little bit until it slides in. Now this is a very important part. This machine can only go left or right so much. So we're going to come over to our controller, handle jog it all the way to the left. Once we have done that, you can see how far right it can go. So right now that's perfect because we're only going to be milling this top plate, not this plate down here. Because we're going to be probing off these corners right here. So that's a perfect spot. So we can take your impact again and just tighten it. Just like that. And that's all it is, just putting your part in. Pretty simple. You guys should have done this for your die project. Now it's come for the hard part. You're going to take your collet, which should be already installed onto the spindle, but I just took it off for ease of use for today. And you're just going to stick the edge finder in the collet and push it down all the way. Then you're going to grab your 13mm, and there's going to be some notches on the spindle, and your wrench is just going to go on it. And then you're just going to get it finger tight. Like that. Now take your 17mm and just get it snug. No need to send it home right now because we're not going to spin this too fast. Just get it snug so it doesn't fall out. Next, we're going to go to handle jog on our controller. And we're just going to bring it up off to the side of the part. So in the video, you guys should have put your model point in center of the part. So that means we got to find center off these two sides. Pretty simple. I just got to show you how to use the edge finder. So first, bring it down. Like that. And you don't have to be center with your Y, just kind of get it close enough. And then on the edge finder, you're going to want to make sure it's offset like that. Because all this does is just makes a really big wobble. And when it stops wobbling, you found your center. Or your edge, basically. Then you just have to repeat it on the other side. So then just close your door. And you can start this process. Oh, make sure your light's on as well, so you can see a little bit better. Okay, now on the controller, I'm just going to type in 1500 and then click forward. This should make the spindle move. Now we're going to go to handle jog and the slowest momentum we can go. And now if you can see, the edge finder is wobbling. So we're just going to ram it into the part. until it stops wobbling and it looks like it's one whole bit. Because I just went too far there. So I back it out. Alright, bring it in. And now that looks perfectly centered. So now, you would go to your position on your controller, and then you're going to look at the machine. The machine says -.1750. Now that we have that number, you're going to take your calculator, and you're just going to input .1750. Keep that number, put down the calculator, and we'll find center by dividing the next side of the square. So now we can open the door. It will stop the spindle. Bring the spindle up so you don't ram your part. You move left like that. And it's gonna go left. Make sure your edge finder is offset like that. You're going to bring it down. And just real quick, we're not going to be probing off this part right here. We're going to be probing off this top. So on this side, there's a very subtle edge right here. So we want to be right above that, but not below that. So this is where you're going to have to crouch down a little bit to get good eyes. I'm going to put you guys back real quick and just do that. There we go. Okay. Part is offset. Light is on. Close the door. 1500 forward. Now that's a good wobble. Now we'd be really able to tell when we hit our part. Like that. Now we go with the smallest increment. Just go till it stops looking like they're two different pieces like that. Perfect. Now we come back on over to our controller and we take our new number, -5.5146. Since we didn't add a negative to the 0.175, we're just going to add them together to 5.5146 and then divide that by 2, and that's our center. So we can stop the machine now. And then we can just bring it up. And then we can just put our machine, because we were doing X, to that number we just found, which is 2.8448. And then we go even smaller increments to get it exactly on 8, like that. 2.8448. So that is centered according to our calculations. And if you look at our part, that looks pretty centered to me. So now we're just going to repeat this process on the y-axis now, which is just going to be here and here. Same thing, add them up, divide them by 2, and we found our center. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to speed it up for you a little bit so you guys don't have to watch me do it again. Okay, now that we have found our Y center, we're going to do the same thing as we did with our X. We're just going to go to our center. So I got 5.1662. So we're just going to click Y and bring it over to 2.5831. So that's 8, smaller increment. Now let's get it to 31. There we go. Now that we have found center for both, we are going to put in our chamfer mount. Again, same process as putting in the end mill edge finder, just in reverse. Now this one kind of matters because you have to measure about an inch of tool stick out. So this one I'm just going to use my thumb to measure it, but that's about an inch right there. I suggest you guys use a measure of any type to get 1 inch. Again, small wrench first, just to get the collet with the bit in. And then take the big wrench home. You want this one tight because you're going to be running this into the part. So get that one a little bit tighter than the edge finder. Now that we have put that in, you are going to want to take your spare end mill you have, the 1/4 end mill. And if any of you have 3D printers at home, this one's going to be very familiar. Is all we're going to do, we're going to bring the tip of the chamfer down, and we're just going to run our end mill back and forth like this until we feel contact. And as soon as we feel contact, that's going to be our Z offset. Okay, like that. See how it can't go past it anymore unless I really force it? That's what we're looking for. So now, we come over back to our machine, and now this is where the offset screen comes in. So now, we're going to go to our work, and we're going to use G54 is what we've decided to use in episode 1. So now, we're going to take your machine distance, which is -2.8448, and plug that into the x-axis on G54. So -2.8448. Click F1 to alter and enter to add. So we're going to click F1. And now if we look at our G54 code, it's the exact same as our machine code. So now we're going to do the same thing with Y. -2.5831. F1. Always click Y. Perfect. Now our X and Y are in center. Now we just got to find Z. And that one is just going to be the Z axis. But this one has a twist because we're using the end mill to find the exact height. So we're going to do -2.530. You can do 2 O's. And now that's perfect. But since we're using a 1/4 chamfer, this is 0.25. So we're going to subtract, or technically add, -0.25 and click enter. So now that's -2.7800. Pretty simple. Now we have all our offsets, right? So now all you have to do is take your thumb drive, plug it into the machine, list programs, use your thumb drive, this little keypad right here, to go to USB and find where you put it in. I'll put it under plate projects. Select the one you want. Once you selected it, by clicking select program, memory, and then it's loaded up. Now, remove your end mill, and now you can close the door. And then, for your first time running your program, I highly suggest you do 80% feed just by clicking that. It will slow down how fast it can move while it's machining. Perfect. Now we can click cycle start, and then it's going to go to its tool changing position. This is going to happen every time whether you like it or not. So you're going to come over to the controller and just click K. It's going to complete the tool change, and it's going to go machine now. Okay, real quick, I see some discrepancy in my program, so we're going to click feed hold real quick, stop, reset, and power up. That's going to return tool to its original position. So now, if you take anything to clean off your part real quick, you can see that we're not going deep enough because my E and the A aren't being machined correctly. So, very simple fix if this is happening to you. You can go to your offset screen again, and for your Z, you can just add negative 0.0. Let's do 1. Just click enter. That might be too deep, depending on the situation. I think that might be too deep. So we're actually going to add 0.01 back, and then we're going to just instead do a negative 0.005. So now it's negative 2.7850 instead of negative 2.0800. So now that we have changed our Z height, we're going to close the machine again, reset, cycle start. It's going to do the tool change, click K, and then rerun it. Now this one should cut a little bit deeper. Not by much, but it will cut deeper. Okay, now that is done, before you remove the part, you want to confirm that all your letters have been correctly engraved. So if we look at mine, the G is still not perfectly engraved, so I could have gone a 0.006 instead of a 5. But for now, that's good enough for me. Now you're going to take your impact or wrench again, and you're just going to loosen it to get it out. Remove your part, put it down, and have you made your nameplate? This is all. You have made your nameplate. Congrats. You can get a grade on this. That's it. My name's Tommy. That's the end of this video. Goodbye.